Well, remember last week on Sport, and we spoke to Chris Johns about the Broncos. Terrific idea, a clean-out needed, he said, board and all. Interestingly, the chairman of the Broncos board is this fellow Carl Morris. I remember from my radio days in another life, he's the chairman of Ord Minnett. At the time, innocent Australians, battlers, lost everything when Ord Minnett advisors represented to innocent people all sorts of grand things that they'd do with their money. Sadly, the battlers lost millions. I fought on their behalf for justice to be done. We got there in the end. A forensic audit carried out for the investors found Ord Minnett's actions were dangerous and reckless. Ord Minnett and its management had been seriously censured by ASIC for compliance blunders in the 2000 and 2001 years. But these illegal and negligent operations continue. A stock exchange disciplinary tribunal fined Ord Minnett in 2004 $100,000 for serious breaches of stock exchange business rules. Now, Mr Morris was not chairman in 1990 or 1991, but he did join Ords as an advisor in 1990. They needed a forensic clean-out then. The Broncos need a forensic clean-out now. Look, in other rugby league, a couple of movie star Russell Crowe with a private plane, and you get to sign the gifted 16-year-old from the King's School at Parramatta to rugby league. Plenty's been written about this young fellow, Joseph Suaalii. One thing's for certain, he's magnificently gifted, a pure athlete. A tragedy for rugby, but at his age, the mentorship of Wayne Bennett and Russell Crowe is a pretty good fit. And great work by Canberra and Manly at the weekend, hopelessly depleted with injuries, but they made no excuses and delivered significant wins. And good luck to Trent Barrett in his new role at Canterbury. He's a class act. He will do well, I can tell you. Now, in soccer, Sydney FC are bidding to cement their status as the greatest A-League side in all time. They've notched their fourth premiership win, but they still have 4 games to play. You've got to wonder why they have to then fight through a finals series to be able to claim the championship. They've won the premiership. I think the English system, is the best. And I don't know whether you want to believe this, but Mike Tyson, who retired in 2005, has said he'll make a comeback at age 54 in Los Angeles on September 12, fighting Roy Jones Jr., who's now a 51-year-old. He did hold the world heavyweight title once. It's supposed to be an 8-round exhibition bout. Said Tyson, we know how to protect ourselves, we'll be all right. Whether he's 54 or not, there are not many of us who'd want to get into the ring with him. And look, wonderful feedback on the Margaret Court interview. As one writer said, Margaret stands for freedom of speech, as well as putting back into our Australian community every day, helping those who are struggling. For those who don't know Margaret personally, she is the best, a loving and generous person. But horse racing's the focus tonight. The public's favourite racehorse, Redzel, has been retired after $16.4 million in prize money, the second highest in Australian racing history. He won the 2017 and 2018 Everest, $12 million in prize money they were worth, the son of the champion sire Schnitzel. But that's not the story. This is good an Australian story as you'll get. The footage you see here is of him winning the Everest in 2017 and again in 2018. But Redzel was orphaned as a foal, so a foster mother was found for the colt, a bit like the 1959 Melbourne Cup winner McDougall. Redzel was bought for $120,000. You don't have to spend millions in racing to buy the best. It is a lot of luck. But the buyers syndicated Redzel to a group of 17 owners consisting of police officers, school teachers, a doctor, a taxi driver, a concreter, an electrician, a pharmacist, a cricket coach, a security guard and a cancer survivor. Together they owned Redzel, trained by Peter and Paul Snowden. As Timmy Gilbert would say, the track is where the magic happens. Well, look, I want to just come onto this on racing. The story of the week is of the Goulburn trainer, Danny Williams. My heart goes out to this bloke. Racing breeds battlers. He's been a battler. When you're a trainer, you go to the sales, you back your judgment. You buy what you think will be a good horse. Danny did that a couple of years ago, but those who told him they'd take a share didn't deliver. Danny was left to pick up the tab. He said recently, just before Christmas last year, things were at an all-time low. He was thinking of walking away. But if you're not training winners, of course, the bills keep coming in. He was losing $4,000 a week. And you get to think the road has no turning. But when that's all you know, and that's what you're good at, you keep going. One good horse can turn it around. Danny Williams went to the Easter sales last year and he came home with a Schnitzel colt. Schnitzel, the champion sire. They called the colt Hot and Hazy. Danny owned part of it. He thought it was something special. He was thinking of Group 1 wins. That's the gold medal of horse racing. The horse won his first start at Wagga in February. Danny thought he'd set him for the Kosciuszko, the world's richest race for country-trained horses. 1,200 metre sprint, October 17 this year, 1.3 million in prize money. Hot and Hazy then won a barrier trial at Goulburn a couple of weeks ago by 15 lengths. So Danny took him to Rosehill last Saturday. Now, I can't show you all the pictures of the race. Everything is subject now to a steward's report. But there was a scrimmage at the top of the straight. Next thing, Hot and Hazy has fallen with the jockey Andrew Adkins. It became sandwiched between two runners. The young jockey, who's had a dreadful lot of bad luck in racing falls, is badly injured. Andrew broke his leg in two places. He broke 7 ribs and a collarbone. Vets immediately attended the fallen horse, Hot and Hazy. They determined the 2-year-old had suffered a broken shoulder and could not be saved. Just when Danny Williams thought his world had changed, it came crashing down. I said we'd talk to him tonight, but before we do, here is some footage from Channel 7. As I said, there is a steward's inquiry. I'll leave you to draw your own conclusions. There might be a few rich owners out there who'll give Danny a few good horses. He deserves some good luck. And just have a look at this. Let's pick it up at the 300. Smart Image, ridden by Huey Bowman in the red hat and the red colours, pulls through the pack. Young Adkins on Hot and Hazy in the purple hat and colours is squeezed for room. As his horse is checked and falls, you'll see the colours here. And the jockeys on the outside, have a look at them. They do remarkably well to even stay in the saddle. Smart Image, ridden by Huey Bowman, goes on to win the race. Danny Williams joins us tonight. Danny, I know you can't say very much, but for the information of viewers, if a jockey's found guilty by stewards of being reckless, the penalty's considerably longer, isn't there? So how do you feel about all of this?
Very tough, Alan. Horses like this don't come along very often. We've nurtured the horse from the time we bought the horse, and the better horses you tend to sort of grow on a little bit quicker. And look, it was a horrific moment for us, and we're still really reeling from Saturday, to be honest.
Absolutely. Where do we go from here? Have you got a couple of good horses in the stable? Prairie Fire?
Look, they're not quite as promising as that horse, Alan. We've always had a nice horse in the stables. But, yeah, good horses are very hard to come by and very hard to replace.
Very hard. Well, I'll tell you what. I wanted people to see your face tonight, Danny, and I'm saying to people out there, owners, give this bloke a couple of good horses, eh? He deserves a break. It's a very emotional time. Danny, our thoughts are with you. We wrote to Danny, and he just made a comment at the end of the conversation. I wrote to him, and he wrote back to me to make a simple statement that he said, we live with our horses and we love our horses, and I think that's true of everything. Hang in there, Danny. You and I will stay in touch.
Thank you, Alan.
It's tough stuff, isn't it? How do you, just when you think the road's going to turn, and there is no turning in the road. Danny Williams. If there's an owner out there who's got a good horse, give it to the bloke, give him a go.